Simo and Horse are a rich part of this, so we could not be in better hands. John Longmire's in Sodden, Sydney. Hello, John.
Hello, everyone. Yes, a little bit wet up here.
And Adam Simpson.
Hey, boys.
Simo, good to have you back. All right, so you got there first, John, in the late 80s. Share your memories of arriving at Arden Street.
Well, I went down in late 1987, turned up at North Melbourne. I was a North Melbourne supporter as a kid, and so Malcolm Blight was my all-time favourite player. I used to run around the back paddock thinking I was Malcolm Blight, and so when I went to North Melbourne, it was, I was lucky enough, one of the few, I guess, to be able to play for the team that I supported, and I fully immersed myself in it. I moved down there at 16 years of age and moved out of home for the first time. That was, I guess, myself, my now wife moved out at the same time from the country. So we really grew up as young, from the age of 16 years of age through to 28, 29, surrounded by the North Melbourne people. And it's the first time that in 23 years, I guess, that I've been back there. And I guess I don't know how long it is since Simo's been back, but sort of 23 years is a long time. So it'll be a bit of a different feeling walking out in the ground tomorrow night.
It has an undeniable character to it from the outside. Did you feel that internally, John, that it was there was just something in the walls?
Yeah, it certainly was. It was. You talk about the character of the place. But the character of the place was made up by the character of the people. I mean, we had the old grandstand and the gym in the old condemned grandstand, things like that were going on. But it was the Ron Josephs, the Greg Millers, the Judy Francis, all the people connected around the club, the trainers, and it was quite a unique group. There was a group that came through in the under-19s together. And they went on to play a lot of senior football together. It was quite a unique group of characters on the playing field as well as off the playing field.
Sim, I went to Barry Cheatley's funeral, and a lot of the old people back then were sort of talking about the off-field environment that North Melbourne had created, and the culture that was built off the back of the 70s and 80s. Have you ever had much or more fun in your time in football than that period?
Well, I got drafted. I was 17 when I got drafted, end of '93. So, sliding doors moment. One of my good friends, Angelo Lekas, went to pick 15 to Hawthorn, and they did nothing for 10 years, and I managed to get there at the start of '94. So, somehow I had a John Longmire poster on my wall. I didn't barrack for North, barrack for Carlton, but I don't know why. I think they gave them away for free at the newsagent. But I don't know. So I grew up there. I was just at the cusp, and we'll talk about it later, of professionalism. 94 wasn't that professional, but the mateship, the unity, how you treat each other, the soul of the club was something that you don't know you're learning it, but you're learning it. And then, of course, what Dennis was doing with the game and what type of team we were. So, yeah, it's about the people, and realistically, that's sometimes all we've had at the club. So to have that as your base point is such a strong thing. I've got no doubt. I took that to Hawthorn as an assistant with you guys, and I took it to West Coast as well.
What do you put the success down to? I mean, when you speak of 7 prelims in a row, the grand final experience, the household names that this football club was able to produce, what is it that you come back to?
It's difficult. I mean, talent helps. You can't deny that. But and the coach, and Horse can talk about Dennis as well. I think to have sustained success, you've got to be doing something a little bit better than everyone else. And I think the system we had set up on field was slightly in front, and off field, we were pretty good off field. When I say that, it's with pride, because it was so tight. The group was such a connected group. So if we went out, there's 40 guys out. And, we'd see 5 Melbourne blokes walk in, and you can see them do a lap of where we were and leave. So we had that. And then we trained our backside. Like, everyone trained, Horse. On Monday, everyone turned up. And so it was old school. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't stand up now. But there was something special about that bond that connects you on field is what you do off field. That's a fair call, Horse, from your time?
Yeah, it was quite an amazing how close the group was off the field, and it was a tight knit unit. There's no doubt about that. It was quite an incredible place to be. We've talked about the people making the place, but it was also about the people off the field. We were fortunate enough to have the late Ron Casey as chairman for a lot of that time after he took over from Bob Ansett and others during that period. But Ron, I think, and the crew at the time organised Friday night footy. So, if we're sitting back and we're talking about Friday night footy these days, well, it was often the Kangas playing on Friday night in front of huge crowds, and to have the foresight on and off the field like the club did, we needed to make every post a winner and just to survive.
Well, it makes me think about tomorrow night and what's the purpose of tomorrow night. And we've seen Hawthorn, the Doggies, do it. And what does it mean for North? And for anyone who's been connected with the club, whether you're a supporter or member, I'm going there to say thank you. And we're doing a few things on field before the game, and that's great. But there's people that are still there 30 years later, and they're the special people, and they're the people. And I've been at big clubs, but they're the heart and soul, and they've stuck through thick and thin. I know there hasn't been success for a long time. So if you're a current supporter, you're probably born into it. It hasn't been a choice. So anyone who's connected to the club, who's supported or has got family members, it'd be great just to get a really good crowd there and show some appreciation for the staff as much as the past players.
All right, we feel super privileged tonight because 26 years on, you're going to reveal the game plan that won the 99 premiership.
Yeah, well, this wasn't 99. This was, I don't know when Dennis came up with this, and I spoke to him earlier, so he's not taking full credit. But I think one day they're going to reflect back to when systems come in place, game plans, and this was the era where I think it was at Essendon Horse, Dave Whedon, Choco Williams, they were sort of formulating this style of play. I'm not sure Kevin was full on into it, but he won a lot of premierships at under 18s, under 19s level and reserves. And then by the time we get to when I got there, it was just the way you trained, the way you were judged, the way you thought. Everyone was on the same page from a system point of view. So we might go through the game plan, Dennis's game plan.
The
and
10 commandments of inside collision corridor football.
Yeah, well, so this is pretty standard, but this is the way we trained. So jump in, Horse, if I've missed any of this stuff, but there was specific drills for this, and this is pretty basic, but just keep thinking back to 91 onwards. So by the time we hit 99, we did the same drill for 12 years for that one.
In front first to move, strong attack on the ball, then first option, quick hands.
Well, you weren't allowed to take on the tackle. It was first give. So off the deck, you had to give the... And then the rehab boys were the most skilled players we had because they did so much touch. So the one touch...
Quickly, kick long.
This was big. So this is the old Pagan Paddock conversation.
Go back
this is the longest piece. So just go on as quick as you can, go through the corridor and...
Pressure on the opposition.
Yeah. So it was pretty basic, but... If you went, and another one will come up in a minute, which Kingy was a shocker at, the short to 50-50s. This was big, and I've coded the grand final. We'll show some clips in a minute. So front and square crumbing, everyone knows what that is. But back then, this was instilled with the way we trained. We had this drill that we did every single session, and it was about one-on-one front and square work. And it was, if you didn't do this, you didn't play.
All right, aggressive protection of the ball carrier.
This has changed, Horse. I mean, I saw a lot of Shepherds in the grand final. A lot of Shepherds, and you'll see one or two pop up. I didn't see any from Horse, but I saw a lot of people shepherding for people with the ball.
This is a rule for every club at every level.
Isn't it?
No U-turns.
This one alone cost me 50 goals a year, this one the U-turns. So you had to sort of give out the handball now, and that's quite... You take away the flair of the player, but when under pressure and defence, play the percentages. This was a Mick Martin classic. When you see the vision later on, the Simo goes through, get it out of the space as quick as you can. It was pretty basic, but it was... relentless pressure on the opposition. These are the things that the coach coded when he went through his positives and negatives on a Monday. It was relentless. When Simo talks about it getting drilled into you, I used to wake up in the middle of the night with cold sweats thinking about it was drilled into you so much. So it was kicking no short to 50-50s. It's the one that he talks about with David King occasionally getting carried by himself. But be fair to say, occasionally that was okay, but you had to have the licence, Simo.
Yeah, I didn't have the licence. I just kick it to duck.
And the 10th commandment,
Yeah, well, this is one. This one's still alive.
Yeah.
This is keep the ball in the front half, hit on, knock on, search football. And when you see these clips, it just makes so much sense, and it was so simple.
Take us to the 99 grand final as to what it looked like.
Well, so who do you think cost us the first goal of the grand final?
You've named him as well.
No shorts to 50-50s, so this would have come up, it probably did come up on the review on Monday. That is a short to 50-50, all right? And then...
he obviously had the licence,
and there's a fitter-looking rats kicking a goal. No, I'm not sure if Kingy had the licence. He was... This is a big clip, right? So this has got a few things in it, you know. This has got the no U-turns, the first option quick hands. It's also got the play on quickly through the inside corridor. So there's all the quick hand stuff. You see Anthony Stevens here. He doesn't want the ball. He wants the block for Byron Pickett. And this doesn't happen anymore. So he allows him space, puts Camporelli on his backside, and then it's long and direct inside 50. And the big fella takes the grab. So Sauce had a good day that day, but the style of play was so evident. This one is what we trained all the time, every session, and this is just, you know, the relentless stuff about the attack on the ball and being first in and first to move. And you sort of expect these things from a grand final, but we thought we were the best at this type of play where eyes on the ball. We had some pretty tough players in the side too. So did Carlton on this day, by the way. But as you can see, it's a typical grand final, ball bouncing around. We would train that every Monday, every Tuesday. This is being predictable in the back half, so you got some idiots there going for it. But have a look at the predictability of bazooka leg Mick Martin coming up, where he's a good defender, but he wasn't exactly lacing you out on the rebound 50s. We got a goal from this play. Obviously, he saw me at the corner of his eye, and the predictability in the back half was really big.
Why'd you cut that play short?
Well, we're getting a bit self-indulgent here. Look, this is Cox and Cousins type of work here. This is horse hit out to advantage to me. But it's more about this play here. This is front and square, and this is still taught now. Shannon Grant got the Norm Smith on this day, and he had 5 opportunities to score. There's your hit on knock-on surge piece around keeping the ball alive in the front half, and everyone knew what was about to happen. So when the game breaks open, like it did in this game, all these types of plays really come into fruition, and this is obviously the end of the day where we all had the celebration, and it was just a great day. I think Peter Bell tried to steal the footy off the umpire.
And you think this game plan belongs in a museum?
I think in 50 years, people who love the game, I reckon he was the first, and there's going to be someone out there going, no, we had someone in 1975 come up with the game. But I think Dennis had the first system-based process where it was off-field, video highlights, positives and negatives, the way you had to know the whole 10 Commandments, the way we trained. We didn't change a drill in 10 years, and it was just systematic. It was a process of induction which he taught instinct.
It's great for you to share that with us.